What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Lost Tangent Outpost. My name is Spada. Today we're doing a follow-up to the most recent episode of the MultiVersus Living Roster. In that episode, we covered Cartoon Network characters with a specific focus on more recent cartoons that they've aired. I talked about in that episode that there were a couple of shows I wanted to discuss, but I couldn't figure out a neat way to fit them with the other stuff that we needed to have a conversation about, so I proposed that maybe the best idea was to have a video specifically covering these cartoons, and I got a lot of feedback in the comments that you guys would like to see that. So today we're discussing Teen Titans and where we think they'll fit into multiverses. This is a hard thing to discuss because I know a lot of people have very strong feelings about this property. There's a very large and vocal portion of the fan base that's so enamored with the original Teen Titans cartoon from the early 2000s to a point that the newer version of the show, Teen Titans Go, just comes off as completely offensive and unnecessary. But then there's people like myself that really love the original cartoon for what it is, but also enjoy the new show as well, admittedly for very different reasons. For me, I think the show does a great job of not taking itself seriously and still gives us a fun look at an alternative version of the team. I will admit I don't love their characterization of Robin, but I still think it works as a whole. And as a huge DC fan, I love the references, the in-jokes, and the self-deprecating nature of it all. I think it's important to remember that Teen Titans Go is not trying to be the original cartoon and very much wants to have its own identity. But again, those of you that love the original Teen Titans so much that you just cannot bear Teen Titans Go, I'm not here to be a jerk or to call you out. I get it. If someone rebooted Supernatural, but changed all the characters' personalities, constantly made fun of what I loved about it, and I got the feeling that they didn't even respect the original, I would feel a lot like you do. In either case, that's not the point of today's discussion. The point of today's discussion is, how do Teen Titans, both versions of the show being incredibly successful for Cartoon Network, how does that fit into multiverses? Let's say we get some representation from Teen Titans. Would it be Go that gets represented? Would it be the original cartoon from the early 2000s? Would it be both or neither? That's at the heart of the discussion today. Now, before we get into any specific points that I want to make for today's show, I want to take a moment to shout out the Discord community I've been spending so much time in, MultiVersus Arcade. This is a super dope community, and they've set up channels for myself and other content creators that are covering multiverses to hang out and discuss our processes. There's a few other general rooms with a range of different topics. We even have an NDA room where those of us that got to play in the most recent playtest can hang out and discuss stuff that isn't public yet. Oh, and Tony, the actual co-lead developer of MultiVersus himself, is actually in the Discord and does pop up from time to time and ask us questions and share information with us about how development is going. Most of all, I just want to take a moment to mention one of the mods in the server, Mido. Mido helped me a lot in the process of the Living Roster because he's been a huge sounding board for me in testing different ideas and concepts. He's even helped educate me on some of the cartoons and stuff that are more popular in the more modern era. My conversations with him over the last few days are a large part of what we'll be discussing today. So I just want to shout him out and say thank you. If you guys are interested in joining the Discord, I'll provide a link to that channel in the description below. All right, and with that, let's get to the main topic. Which Teen Titans version would be most likely to be represented? So first, let's talk about the original show. The original show was a lot more serious. It definitely didn't take itself too seriously though. There were plenty of asides, particularly with Cyborg and Beast Boy, that brought in a ton of humor and fun. The show on its own definitely embraced that it was an animated show, but it also wasn't afraid to get serious, get dark, and cover more mature themes. The action is awesome, the hand-drawn animation looks amazing, and the voice acting was top-notch. But then there's Teen Titans Go. Now, this show is definitely not the same kind of show. There's almost no darkness, the show doesn't take itself or anything else seriously. It spends every episode working to reduce the characters down to their most flawed and funny versions. Robin is an entitled narcissist, full on. Starfire is as naive as ever. Beast Boy and Cyborg are played like morons. And Raven is oddly probably the most relatable character. I don't know, maybe that's just me. The show even makes an effort to poke fun at the tangential parts of the DC universe by having guest appearances from Speedy and Terra and making fun of them. And it doesn't even take its Holy Trinity seriously, given that it spends so much time making fun of Batman and Jim Gordon. Now, when I break the shows down like this, it's very easy to see why there's such disdain for Teen Titans Go. But here's the thing, regardless of whether or not the humor lands for you, the animation is as good as the original or whatever, the show is still insanely successful. So it stands to reason, especially given that it's so successful, that Warner Brothers would want them represented in the game somehow. But doing so automatically alienates the fan base of the original cartoon. And given that Teen Titans Go had entire episodes dedicated to that exact fan base's reaction to its own existence, there's no way that WB and Player First Games don't know that there'd be such a reaction. So then what's the resolution here? Do you represent Teen Titans Go and just have the original reference through costumes? Is that even possible given the proportional differences? What about the other way around? What's more likely? The issue here is there's no real way to know. So then why even make this video? Why take the time out to write a script and edit the audio and video and all of that? Well, because I think there's a really easy solution to this problem. One that's been provided by people on Discord, but forgive me, I don't remember who brought it up. They could just include representatives from Teen Titans as general DC characters and simply reference the shows by having alternative costumes games that closely resemble those versions. They've already done this very blatantly with Batman, where Player First Games has their version of the character, which appears to be the default skin, but then there's an alternative costume that tries its best to match the style of the animated series, and frankly does so really well. And really, this is the only reasonable solution I can think of to this problem. However, doing this means that they would just be figured in as part of the general DC universe. And if that's going to happen, is there even a reason to think Teen Titans would have any more likelihood than some of the other characters like The Flash, Joker, Blue Beetle, Batgirl? I'd argue not really, but the fact that both versions of the Teen Titans cartoons have been massive hits for Cartoon Network, I feel like it's inevitable that they'll get represented somehow. So with that, now it's time to pass it off to you guys in the community. With everything I've discussed today, how likely do you think it is that we'll get Teen Titans in this game? Which one of them do you think is most likely? And if we got them, how do you think they'd be represented? I'm going to pose a custom straw poll to you all, and I'll link to it in the description of this video, and then pin it to the top of the comments section. How do you think MultiVersus will resolve this conundrum? Will they have Teen Titans Go repped with 2000s Teen Titans skins? Will they have 2000s Teen Titan repped with Teen Titans Go skins? Will they have Teen Titans repped just generally, having skins for both cartoons? Or maybe they'd have one Teen Titan rep for one series, and another Teen Titan rep for the other. Let me know what you guys think in the poll, and in the comments, let me know which of the Titans you'd be most excited to see show up in MultiVersus. Thank you everyone for coming by today. Make sure to like and subscribe and all that stuff. And until next time, later.